Hello, my name is Raymond Karchevsky. I am a living Christ. Today I'm going to prove to you, to yourself, that you, by your own consent, are the living dead. You are persons. You're no longer living men and women. That which you were born to be, but in the interim, in the continuation of your life as children, you were traumatized. You were mind controlled. You were educated. You were civilized. You were made into persons. Dead, defined status based in words. Words that are of your intellect, your satanically ruled intellect. Fantasy. None of it is true. None of it is whole. None of it is complete. You have given up that status as a whole, holistic, complete man or woman. I suspect that all of you are going to be defensive about what I'm saying to you. Those who are not properly trained, who have been kept at a deliberate state of ignorance for a purpose, the purpose of control, the purpose of slavery, of reducing you in your status into that of a slave, an automaton, a robotic, soulless individual that is used only to serve a synthetic, a fragmented, a fictional system of thought. That system of thought has a word attached to it. That's what you're controlled by, words. The religious leaders who rule your mind, the satanic controllers, the mind controllers, wrote a book called the Bible. And they begin with the Bible by saying, in the beginning, there was the Word. That is the beginning of a synthetic, civilized society created in words. And billions of men and women have been mind-controlled, reduced to persons by definition, by the very institutions that they create, that they support, that they belong to, that they are tyrannized by government and religions. These are the instruments of Satan. I've said a mouthful, and many of you are outraged by these words. Your back is up. You're resentful. You're angry. You're frustrated. You are violent. persons, mechanical, robotic persons, the living dead. You're the civilized person. That word person has been created by a fictional government which has decreed you, the living man, the living woman, the creator actually of that government, of that religion. But they've turned the tables on you, and they create the word person, the legalistic, defined word, the satanic, judicial, legalistic word of a fictional individual, not unlike a corporation. Oh, you follow the law. But what is that law? It is based in satanic mind control. It reduces everything to words, to defined words, that you must adapt yourself. You must abide by the definitions of those which create their own authority. These are the men, the women, the leaders of government. You understand? They are your masters. They live off your energy, your life's energy, by converting it into the symbol of money. And then they control the system, the financial system, and they siphon off your life's energy. You, the living man, the living woman, the source of all creation on earth. You are at one with all of that which is, as a living man and as a living woman. But you consent that status away, and you agree, you contract, you bind your by accepting the mantle of personage, that which is of the living dead. You're regarded as less than human, so you're treated like slaves. You toil from morning till night, day in, day out, just to pay for you to exist. Now why would you fall for such a foolish, simpleton arrangement of paying with your life's energy in the form of money to another person, another non-living individual who has the power over you, the hypnotic power to make you believe, to make you sustain your servitude to him, which begins as children when you're sent to school, and the authority symbol of the teacher is imposed upon you coercively, and you're trained, much like any other animal, domesticated animal, through reward and punishment to gain your consent, to gain your following, to gain your faith, to gain your dependence upon them, just for your very existence. Now, what existence is that? A life that is built in birth and death. Now, truly, that cannot be true, for it is fragmented. It is time-bound. You understand? It's just a concept. You're born, you come into being, you live, you agree to live, you call that life, and you die one day. Understand? Beginning, continuation, and end. That's a fiction, for truth is forever. The truth is that you are that truth. You are that holistic God, the Creator, responsible for the quality of your life. You are beyond your thought. Your thoughts are nothing more than your property, your beliefs. You understand? Why would you give that power away to another man who controls your power? He has your power. He is your leader. He is your king. He's your queen. He's your president. He's your politician. It's all fragmented. It's all fictional. And it's not real. Who speaks this kind of thought? Only a Christ, a simple man of truth, a living man, uncontaminated by the words and definitions that have been forcefully imposed upon him, but not accepted. You see, if you are civilized, you accept by your own consent those words, and therefore you become bound to them. But you give up your living status as a man, as a woman, as a creator, as a God of your own life, responsible for your life. That, in sum total, is what you have made of your life. And it's a mess. You cannot deny it. You're confused. You're frankly under the power of Satan, the power of suggestion, hypnotic suggestion, where you abide by words that are fictitious. They're of your mind. You can either believe it or not believe it. That's the power of thought. That's the power of fiction. That's the power of slavery. You're all hypnotized, and you call yourself civilized. Look at the coronavirus. It's a thought that sets millions of you go around wearing masks. You were not born with a mask. You will not die with a mask on. You are only living through mind control with a mask. And how effective is that mask in protecting you from life, protecting you from mind control, protecting you from the violence that occurs because people are confused within themselves? All they want to do is live freely, sovereign, with sovereignty, to be whole, to be respected, but they're not allowed to. They're denigrated. into the powerful and the victims. The dichotomy of dualism. That's what civilized life is all about. The control of the masters and the slaves. Look at within yourself, and you will know where you fit in. And it will make you angry. That I can guarantee you. The vast majority of you are slaves, and you're angry about that. Well, there's something you can do about that. You can just stop the clutter of the intellectual, satanically conditioned mind. Just the stopping of that momentum will bring you into silence. And in that silence, you will feel your wholeness. There's nothing else but what is, and you're it. That's the realization of who you have always been. That you have been thrust into this plane of existence, this consciousness, in order to understand, to solidify that clarity of consciousness. That's why you're here on earth, to learn who you are, to learn your purpose, and to live holistically, truthfully, peaceably, cooperatively with one another. Because you're all that is. The rest is all projected fictions of your own intellect. And you think it's real. That's the illusion of hell. Wake the hell up. Take back your control. Take back your power. That's very simple. Change your employment status so that you get a full day's pay for a full day's work. If you have to serve as a slave to another man and call that an employer-employee relationship, do you see the dichotomy of that? That applies to millions and millions of you. You're already split. You're already made into a slave. And you're working for slave labor, which you are paid fictional money for a day's work. Your energy, your power. You've been robbed. Satanically robbed. Now, what happens when that ends? You have a choice of becoming a leader. You have a choice of becoming a slave master. But you're still in that dichotomy of duality, of power, of hell. That's civilized life also. Can you live holistically, at one with nature? The American Indians did it. Look at what the technical world has wrought upon. Such a nation of peaceful, nature-living people. I mentioned the American Indian here in the Western world, but there are primitive tribes that have not yet been civilized. You call them savages. You've defined them as savages. You've placed a word upon them to give you the illusion of power over them. But they have no crime. They have no jails. You understand? They live naturally. They live in love. They do not harm another intentionally, unlike the civilized world does. The politically driven or religiously driven world does. They do not lie. They do not cheat. They merely live. And they're not allowed to live by interlopers, by civilized men who wish to convert them to their belief system and send out missionaries to destroy their way of life, their peaceful way of life, their life living with nature. It's all backward. And you, the civilized person, bears the blame for it because you're a coward. You cannot stand up alone. You act only in group thought. But somebody has to control that group thought. Guess who does that? Your leader, by your consent. And you're still an automaton. You're still in hell. Well, wake the hell up. Stop this coming financial collapse in its tracks. Withdraw your support of government that makes possible that financial collapse. Boycott. Don't kill. Don't maim. Don't resist evil. Merely boycott it. Peacefully withdraw your support and let it fall apart for lack of power, of the money that they extract from you. This is coming to you from a living man, a simple man, a Christ, a simple man of truth. That's all Jesus of Nazareth was. They killed him because he threatened his world, his civilized world of his time. I am such a living Christ, the essence of truth, and I threaten the present satanic control that exists at this time in history. But you reject me as you have rejected Jesus, or he was rejected by his people. Nothing much has changed. You people are just the same. You're still trapped in a fictional world. You're still slaves, and you're proud of it. Well, you're having a second chance with the second coming of Christ consciousness, and I'm bringing it to you. Are you going to dismiss it again in favor of continuation as being a slave controlled by a cashless society which allows for you to live if you do not threaten their system? I don't threaten the system. I merely live my life, and they have no power over me. Now that becomes a threat to the system. They can't allow that to be. But they are satanic. Therefore, they take a second seat to the God of creation, which is truth. I am truth. I am true life, not a fictional life, but true life beyond the realm of thought. I am the way. Jesus spoke of the same thing, and it became a matter of belief, words, concepts, and you've been trapped by those words. You've been trapped by the Bible. Life is beyond the Bible. Creation is beyond the Bible. A Bible is a book, that's all, written by living persons living dead. In history, another fiction, because fiction, history, can be changed to fit according to the thought process that is designed to continue a fictional life. That's called civilized life. Break the spell. I reach the world, but look at the numbers of my view counter. Look at the content of this video, what I have said, and you tell me that it's not important, that it's not news. Yet, look at what the news media does. Look at what the government does. Look at what the religions have done. They ignore the efforts, the work of this living Christ. They demean it. They try to destroy it. They attack it. But they can't destroy it. They've been at me for 25 years, and they have failed in their efforts to destroy the truth of this living Christ. Why doesn't that register with you? Understand? Look at the view counters of my videos, my hundreds and hundreds of videos, the gospel of this living Christ at this time. How do you suppose the gospel of Jesus Christ has survived? It has survived only because the satanic powers of religion have controlled your minds and called it the living gospel of Christ, of Jesus of Nazareth. But they killed him. How dumb do you have to be not to see the truth of what I am speaking of? But that's not enough. Truth requires your action, not your belief, not your argument, not your conflict. It requires you to just stop hell on earth. And it can be done right now, right this moment. Stop believing. Start living. Thank you.